Okay, so next topic here is a topic that's been discussed for many years, ever since I got into real estate 16 years ago. 16 years ago. You've been in real estate what, 28 years?
I've been in the real estate 28 years, and this is actually going to be my 29th year in the business,
Wow.
1991.
Wow. So the next topic here is real estate agents being 1099 independent contractors or W-2 employees. And basically, a little history for many of you that don't know about the industry that much is that historically, real estate agents have to work under a broker, and brokers issue them a 1099 for all the commission that they've earned, and then the agent basically on their taxes acts as an independent contractor as if they're self-employed. Well, actually, they are self-employed. They list their gross commission earned, and then from there they do their deductions for business expenses, marketing, etc. Now,
And in fact, just to kind of interrupt you there, essentially, each real estate agent isn't an employee. They're more of an entrepreneur onto their own. And the broker that they work with is more of their business partner in many respects. Because that individual agent does have to have that whole entrepreneur business mindset in order to succeed in business. Which actually, I'll jump back to that point as we go to the idea of the possibility of it going to a W-2.
yeah, so the IRS has been really looking at real estate agents for probably the last 15 years and saying, well, do they fall under independent contractors or as employees? Because in the real estate industry, you have a lot of brokers that will require business cards to look the same. They'll require agents to attend office meetings, do floor time. And there's a lot of things that brokers try to instill or try to guide their agents to do in order for the company to work as one whole company. The problem with that is it's a gray area, because at what point do you cross the employer-employee threshold? Because if you are telling someone what to do or how to run their business, well, technically it's not a business anymore, and you're their employer telling them what to do. And so that's where this whole debate of, are real estate agents independent contractors or employees? Now, with real estate agents being independent contractors, IRS, they're not collecting employee wages and taxes. Yet if they switched real estate agents to a W-2 employee, they'd be able to collect a lot more in taxes. So of course there's that aspect to it where the IRS wants to collect more in taxes. So that's really the whole history of it. The Realtors Association has really fought against it to keep the industry the way it's been operating since forever, I think.
No, I agree.
Right?
In fact, kind of segueing off of what you said, I do think that if this does actually occur, where the IRS kind of steps down and now makes all licensees or broker associates to the managing broker a W-2 employee, you're going to see a huge number of the offices go away, primarily because, again, earlier I said that you kind of have to already be in the mindset of an entrepreneur, kind of like being a self-starter. Because I always tell any new agent looking in, I'm not going to tell you to come in at 9 a.m. in the morning or 6 a.m. in the morning, which is usually what I'll do. I'll come in really early and I'll stay really late and I'll get a lot of things done. It's really up to that individual. So unless you're that type of a go-getter and you have that entrepreneurial mindset, you're not going to be a great agent. And there's a lot of not great agents out there. In fact, the average number of sales for a typical real estate agent is like 6 a year.
Six a year, and total income is about 39,000.
Right.
Was what NAR came out with. That's before deductions. After deductions, your average agent makes 29,000 take home.
Right. And so the point behind that is that right now, whereas the 1099 mindset enables a lot of agents who don't necessarily have that go-getter attitude to be employed or be active in the business to do their, 6 or 7 or 8 deals a year. When you go down the line of offices or brokers who can just hire agents, and there's a little bit less risk to that agent because they don't have to pay them a salary. It's kind of they get paid if they perform. But now with the W-2 aspect, again, this is a big question mark: is, are you going to have to pay that individual a salary or some type of a stipend, and then a portion, and then how much of the actual closing? Or are they going to get? Because then the commission splits will probably drop. So what that'll probably do...
Well, the commission drops for the agents will drop,
yes,
and the broker is going to take more.
The broker will have to take more.
Yeah, because it's going to cost the broker a lot more money to keep them employed.
Right. And so the point behind that is that when you have a lot of these really not the best entrepreneur mindset agents and not the best entrepreneur mindset brokers or these offices, because you'll see them. You know, being in the business 29 years, I've had the privilege of being able to see a lot of offices come and go. And usually they go away because eventually the broker will go, you know, I thought I'd make a whole lot more money, but I don't really know how to run a business. And so when they realize what their bottom line is, they're like, you know, I make so much more money working under another broker. You're going to see that big separation of offices where they really decide who should stay in the market and who shouldn't. It all comes down to like, and same thing with brokers. They'll probably go down the list of their agents and say, I'm going to keep you, but I'm going to let you go because you really don't perform. And now that I'm obligated to pay you something, I'm going to have to treat this just like any real more rigid business model.
I think what's going to happen is, so if you did not see our episode last week, go back and check that out. We talk about the ghost agents and the Keller Purge. And Keller Williams is a perfect example of this, but I think it's going to happen to every brokerage just on different scales. Keller Williams has 119,000 agents. They're going to purge their ghost agents, the ones that really don't, that shouldn't be on their roster, period. But if this were to happen, do you think Keller Williams is then going to employ 119,000 agents under their company? Absolutely not.
No, absolutely not. I mean, even with the 29 people that I have under me technically, I could think of at least half that I would have to just say goodbye to or more, just because I could look at their actual performance levels and go, hey, it's time to think about a different career.
Yeah.
And again, this is kind of what that mandate from separating 1099 to W-2 would probably just kind of usher in.
Okay, so now our second segment of the show is we like to do a quick property analysis, discuss a property, and at the end basically tell you whether it's a buy or pass.
Great. So the property that we're going to analyze today, and we're not going to talk about actual addresses, is a